Welcome to the Brass and Woodwind shop. When you're replacing pads on flutes, first of all you need to remove the old pad and then put the new one on. In this video I'm going to show you what to do after you put the new pad in the key. On this flute I put all new pads on the keys, and now what I'm going to do is put a key on the instrument, and I'm going to make sure that the pad is level and seats like it should. There are 3 small pads on a flute, and these are glued into the key cup, and these you heat up the glue and then it melts the glue and then you can level the pad. I'm going to show you how to do these ones in another video. In this video I'm going to do the larger pads. Some keys just have 1 pad on them, others are groups of keys which have multiple pads. If you're just starting to learn how to work with flute pads, save these ones for later and practice on the ones with just 1 pad on them. These are the keys that are left with just 1 pad on each key. For this video I'm going to work on the foot joint, and that has 3 keys and they all have just 1 pad on each key. If you need to know how to remove the old pads and then install the new ones, look in the description below for a link to that video. Oil the hinge rod and then install the 3 keys. Then hook up the springs. Now I'm ready to level the pads, and you can see that these open a little too far right now, but that's okay. I will take care of that later after the pads have been leveled. There are usually only 3 tools you'll need to do this job. You may need more if things go wrong, but usually you can get by with these 3 tools. The first one is a feeler gauge, and I did a video on how to make one of these, so look in the description below for a link to that video. And another one is a small Woodwind screwdriver. And this one, I call it a flute pad leveling tool, but really all it is a piece of cardboard that's folded, and I'll show you how to make one of these real quick. You take an empty box of reeds and you rip off the sides here and find the corner of the box that has the extra piece of cardboard that's been glued on to glue the box together, and then you take a scissors and you cut probably a little less than 1 centimeter or about 3/8 of an inch. And there you have a flute pad leveling tool. These don't last very long, so if you're going to be doing a lot of flute pads, save all the reed boxes you get. Next, what you do is you take your feeler gauge, open the pad, put the feeler gauge under it, and then pull out and see how much tension there is when you pull it out. And then move it a little farther around, and then you go all the way around the pad, and then you feel for how much tension there is. On this key, there's more tension in the back, and I have to pull harder on the feeler gauge to get it out, but then when I go around I don't have to pull as hard to get it out, and then when I get to the front I don't have much resistance at all. It's almost ready to just slide right out. And then when I start going around farther, it starts to build a little more tension, and then around the back there's more yet. What that tells me is that the back of the pad is seated on the tone hole, but that the front is not. So here's the flute, and here is the tone hole. What a tone hole is one of the holes on a woodwind instrument where the sound comes out. On this key there's a lot of tension on the back. There's heavier tension, and then as I go around there's a little bit less tension, and then around the front there is almost none, and then on the sides there's a little bit more, and then the tension gets heavier towards the back again. What I need to do is take the key that's over that tone hole and I need to level it so that it is level with the tone hole. Now I need to take this key and bend it down in the front. So I'm going to take my pad leveling tool and put it in there on the back and push down on the front of the key. And I'm doing that with a flexing motion. You do not want to push too hard and damage the instrument. You just want to bend this key just a little bit down in the front. Okay, now take that out and use the feeler gauge again to see how it is. I think I may have bent it a little too far to the front, because now it seats in the front but not in the back. I'm going to take the pad leveling tool again and push the key towards the back. And usually you need to push it a little harder when you're making the pad go back than you do if you're making it go forward. Pull the pad leveling tool out and try it again. Usually you have to do this a few times before you get it just right. And this time I need to go a little bit forward and a little bit this way. So I'm going to put it back at an angle now, and I'm going to push it this way just a little bit, And I don't need to go very far this time, so I just pushed lightly on it. What I'm going to do is keep bending the key until the feeler gauge is even around the whole key. And this is getting close. I think I need to go forward a little bit. So this time I'm going to push very lightly. I've worked on the pad for a minute or two, and now there's equal tension all the way around the pad, so this one is good. And now I'm going to move on to these other two. These two keys have an adjustment between them, and they should close together. But when you're leveling the pads, you do not want one key to keep the other key from closing. So this key could keep this one from closing. I'm going to bend this key down so I can get that one out of the way. So now this one can close, but I can also close this one too. If this key would not allow this key to close, then when I was using my feeler gauge, I would not get any tension on the pad all the way around it, and I wouldn't know which way it is bent. Now that I have this key out of the way, I'm going to level this one. Now I'm going to test the pad all the way around, and there's some tension on the front and on the side. But in the back, it's a little weak, so I have to move it back just a little bit. Okay, I'm almost there. I think it needs to go back that direction just a little more. I did not push quite hard enough, so I'll do that again. I'll try it again. Okay, and it feels good this time. The last pad to do is a C-sharp key, so I will check that. Okay, this one is way off to the side, so what I'm going to do is put this on the side and bend it the other direction and try it again. Okay, well, it went that way a little bit, but now it also needs to go back, so I'm going to push the key back. And once you've done this a lot of times, you'll get a feel for it, and you'll know how much you need to push on a key to get it to do what you want it to do. But it takes a lot of practice to do that. This pad is now leveled, so all the pads on the foot joint are now level. Leveling flute pads can be a little frustrating, and it takes a lot of patience to do it, and especially when you're new at it. But if you get a feel for the metal in the pads, it usually gets easier over time. Leveling the pads is just one of the steps in putting new pads on a flute. You will also need to adjust and regulate the keys when you're done. There are other ways of leveling flute pads. Some people like to use shims and partial shims to level the pads, and usually on professional models that is the way it's done. But on student and intermediate models, usually most people level the keys the way I showed you in this video. Thank you for watching, and look in the description below for links to other videos about flute pads.